All right. You want me to just go?
Yeah, go.
All right. Okay. I will just go. All right. So my name, you probably don't know me. I feel weird introducing myself. Okay. So I'm Makala Clark. I'm a 2-star diamond coach. I've been a coach since October of 2013. I really didn't start building until January of 2014. My team is called the Ugly Crew, which may throw you off and you may be like, why would you be called that? But it stands for Unique, Gifted, Lovable You. So we're the Ugly Crew, and we just, we embrace that. And I don't know, I'm going to talk a little bit about that tonight, actually, about owning your awesome and being your unique self. So I love your coach, Becky. Like, I love her, and I stalked her for a really long time, and I finally got to meet her in person in January, and I still just love her and adore her. So I'm really excited to be here. Okay, so I guess I'll get started. Sorry, I feel really awkward. I don't know why. Okay, so I'm going to share a little bit about my story, who I was before I became a coach, because we all start somewhere. If I talk too fast, like, just raise your hand, because I get really, really, really excited and I talk really, really fast. Okay, so before, we're going to start kind of at the beginning. Growing up, I was a really thin kid. I grew up with a single mom in a tiny town in Idaho called Grace. It's itty bitty. It's the cutest little town ever. There's like 900 people. I grew up there, and like I said, I was just thin and I was skinny, and I didn't really think anything of it. But my mom was actually overweight. And I can remember when I was growing up and she was a single mom, I was an only child. And so a lot of my weekends were spent laying by myself because my mom was sick in bed or with a migraine, or her knees and her joints were hurting her, or, I mean, she had a lot of health problems because of her, because she was overweight. I really didn't think anything of it, didn't really pay much attention to it until I got to high school. And I don't want you to think that I was being this like snotty teenage kid embarrassed by my mom, because I really wasn't. My mom and I are very, very close. Because she is a single mom, we have just a very close relationship. But I can remember going shopping with my mom and just feeling sad that we couldn't have that shopping bond, which sounds really, kind of cheesy, but it was something I wanted. My friends were going shopping with their moms, and they swapped clothes, and they had this like fun experience. When I went shopping with my mom, we went in, I tried on clothes, we bought them, and we left. Like, there wasn't laughing. My mom was insecure. She couldn't fit into clothes she liked. She shopped in the guys section. I mean, it was hard. So fast forward a couple years, I like I said, I was always thin, but I didn't know how to eat healthy. I didn't grow up in a home that taught you how to be healthy. So I was just naturally thin, but I ate junk. And my senior year, my best friend passed away 3 weeks before graduation. So we were getting ready to graduate high school, move on with our lives, take on the world, and my best friend unexpectedly passed away. So I ran away to college. Like, I literally ran away to college. I graduated, and the next day I moved into my apartment. Like, I was leaving town. I was done. I enrolled in classes, and I took kickboxing and dance classes. Out of my 13 credits I took, 2 of my classes were workout classes because I did not want to gain the freshman 15. I was very, very determined to not gain the freshman 15. So I spent, I think it was like 6 hours a week dedicated solely to workout classes, just working my booty off. But again, I didn't know how to eat healthy. So I didn't gain my freshman 15, but I still wasn't taking care of my body. I wasn't healthy. I got kicked out of college, so I'm not a college graduate at all. Like, I did not go back. I got kicked out. Like, I didn't know how to study. I was there, I want to say I was there to be social, but I really wasn't super social either. I just struggled with college. College was hard for me, and I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. So I got kicked out. They said, goodbye, see you later. We don't want you. And I was like, okay. So I ran away and lived with a boy. Like, that was my solution. I didn't want to go home. That's what losers do. So I ran away and lived with a guy that was abusive and treated me very, very awfully. I lived with him for about 5 months, and I finally, one night, he tried to kick me out of my own vehicle or a song on the radio that I turned up, really irrational things. So I went home. I ran home again. And then my knight in shining armor actually picked me up that night. My husband picked me up. I was in a ponytail with mascara running down my face, and he just took me around and drove me around listening to me cry about another boy. And the rest is history. We got married. We got engaged really fast. Like, you guys are gonna be like, wow, you're immature. So we met at the end of August. We were engaged by October, and we were married in March. Like, we just knew we wanted to be together. We got married in March 20th of 2010. And 6 weeks later, found out I was pregnant with our first baby. Yeah, fast, I know. And another 3 weeks later, I found out we were moving to Minot, North Dakota. I don't know if you know where Minot, North Dakota is. It's cold. Like, it's cold. And everyone told me, they're like, you know, it's not that great of a place. And here I was, 20 years old, moving to North Dakota with my husband, 1,000 miles away from family. So we moved, and I just was depressed. I started working at a daycare. I went to work. I came home. I made dinner, and I went to bed. And that was my life as a pregnant, you know, like, I want to say I was a cute workout girl. No, I ate cookie dough for lunch. Like, I was not healthy in any way. But Beachbody has always kind of been a part of my life. I actually had looked up Shakeology when I was pregnant, and I saw the price tag and immediately just said, nope, I can't do it. But someday I will. Like, this is something I wanted to try. Okay, so I had my little girl in 2011, in February of 2011. Fast forward 22 months, I had my son. Yeah, we're quick people here. So I spent, but the 22 months previous to that, I spent really depressed and really down, and I had the baby blues, and I remember crying in my rocking chair, rocking my baby, telling God I understood if he took my baby because I didn't feel fit to be a mother. So I was just struggling with myself. I didn't take care of myself. I hated the girl I saw in the mirror because I didn't recognize her, but I didn't do anything about it. Like, I just didn't. I rewarded myself daily with a Diet Coke because I deserved it. I was a mom, and that's what moms do. And I was, you know, young, and so I felt like I had to mold into this mom mode. So, like, mom jeans and t-shirts, which I hear mom jeans are coming back. But I just, you know, I didn't take care of myself. So I had my little boy in December of 2012. So I got married in 2010. My little girl was born in 2011, and then my little boy was born in 2012. Yeah. And that day, I remember thinking, I can't go back to the girl I was before. I can't. That's not fair to my family. It's not fair to me. So I told my husband, I was like, I've got to do something. And I signed up, like 2 weeks after I had my baby, I signed up for the local YMCA. Well, January in North Dakota at negative 50 degrees isn't fun. It's not fun. And I started going to kickboxing classes. I would leave my house at 4:30 every single morning to make the 5 a.m. kickboxing class. I had a brand new baby and a 2-year-old, and I was trying to work out as well. And it wasn't working. I wasn't sleeping. Things just weren't working. So my husband actually said, how about we try Insanity? And I was like, okay, sure. I'd never heard of it. So I was like, yeah, okay, I kickbox, so I can do this. I got this. And I got Insanity. I don't know if you guys have done Insanity. Insanity is, it's nuts. Like, the word fits, it's nuts. And I did the first day. I thought I was going to throw up about 2 or 3 times, but I loved it. Like, I loved how I felt after I did it. So I decided to do that and kickboxing. Like, why not do both? Well, I ended up having to go to the doctor because I messed up my feet really, really bad because I was doing too much. So I had to make a choice, and I chose Insanity. So I promise I have a point with all of this. So I started doing Insanity, and I started posting selfies, and I was the annoying girl posting selfies. The people that I used to hide, I was now. I posted motivational quotes every single day. I was doing Insanity. I was posting my healthy meals because for once in my life, I finally was figuring out what was good to eat, what was not. I was following a nutrition guide. So I was sharing it. And a girl came to me who actually is now my personally sponsored coach. So she's not my upline. She's my personally sponsored coach. She came to me and she said, hey, you know, there's this girl on my Facebook that's looking for coaches. You should do it. And I was like, okay, I'll find out about this. I didn't know about Shakeology, really. I didn't watch the infomercials. I just turned everything off when I was done, and I didn't have time for that. And I didn't really know about the coaching opportunity, and so I reached out to my now coach and just said, hey, I heard I could like do something with this. And she sent me a webinar from Brigitte, which was 2 hours long. I did not watch the whole 2 hours, not gonna lie. I was like, I heard Brigitte's story and immediately I was like, this is what I need to do. This is for me. I hadn't tried Shakeology yet, didn't know, other than I knew Insanity had worked for me. And up until that point, I'd lost 20 pounds. So I knew that Insanity worked. Like I knew, and I love Shanti. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. And at first though, then she told me it cost money, and I was like, I'm not spending money. I already do this. Like, I don't need money. I don't need to do that. And then my husband actually said, you need to sign up. You need to give it a try. You want to try Shakeology anyway, just do it. So I signed up as a coach. I ordered a T25 challenge pack and my Shakeology, and I was so excited. And it came to my doorstep, and I made up my Shakeology like immediately, but I didn't know that there was tricks to Shakeology, so I just put it in a shaker cup with some water, and I was like, this is gonna be awesome, and it was so gross. I remember calling my husband, being like, they want me to sell this. How am I going to sell this stuff? So I can't even gag it down. But I found my way I like it, and you guys probably have the same experience. Like, you've had to find the way that you like it, and you love it now. And so that's just a little bit about who I am. And I started this coaching thing, and I started, I was Breezy's one of her first building coaches. I didn't know this at the time, but I was, and she was scrambling to find a team to put together to put me into, because I was the first person that actually wanted to build the business. And she told me about the 3 vitals, and I was like, personal development? No, I'm not doing that. And so she would call, and we'd have our weekly chats, and she'd ask me how my personal development was going, and I'd be like, great. I scroll Pinterest, I read the quotes on there, I'm good, like, I'm good. And she's so nice that she didn't tell me, no, that's not personal development. So my first few months as a coach, I sold 1 challenge pack to the girl who told me about this opportunity, that felt guilty about roping me into this. That is all I made in my first 2 months as a coach. I didn't know what I was doing. I hadn't decided. January of 2014 rolled around, and I was like, I'm doing this. Something sparked. I heard Scotty Hobbs talking about the trip to Cancun, and I was like, why not me? Like, why can't I do that? So January rolls around. The last 2 weeks of January is when I had this aha moment. I went Emerald, and I hit Success Club 18. Because all of a sudden, I just had this mindset of, why can't I do this? Why not me? Fast forward a couple months later, March 20th, it was my anniversary, and with my marriage, and I was like, I'm going diamond then. That's my goal. I went diamond on March 20th. And the reason I figured out kind of why I saw the shift. Not only was it personal development is huge. Never, ever skip personal development. Ever, 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 ever. I love it. I think it's amazing. You can find personal development in like anything now. If you are in the groove of personal development, you could be watching Mary Poppins and you're just like, oh my gosh, like this relates to life, and it's just great. Like, I love personal development. But my biggest thing is, hold on, just one second, my little girl is sleepwalking. Hey, okay, sorry, she's sleepwalking. Okay, so I figured out that I needed to stop being everybody else. I went through this period where, because they said success leaves clues, you know, and so I went through this mindset of, well, if Brigitte Linford and Lindsay Matway and Melanie Mitchell are posting this, then obviously this is what I need to be posting. So I started trying to be them. I started trying to be somebody I wasn't. And while I love and admire those coaches, they're not me. We're not the same. And so I tried to be other coaches. And I don't know if you've ever seen that, but you'll see a post by another coach, right? You'll see a Bonnie Engel. I love Bonnie Engel, so I'm just going to say Bonnie. Bonnie Engel. And you're like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. So when you're new, you copy it, right? And then you kind of tweak it just a little bit to make it sound like you, but really it's her post. And you're like, this is going to be the post that everyone's going to like, and everyone's going to flock to me, and I'm going to be a Success Club 10 All-Star legend, and I'm going to be this rock star coach. And then cricket, right? nobody likes it. Or you get minimal likes, like your mom likes it. My mom pity likes a lot of things for me. It's great. You get all these likes and you don't get very many. And it's because it's not you. It isn't you. It's not your personality. So when I started, I didn't believe in myself. But like I said, I didn't believe in personal development either. I just didn't. And so it finally clicked when I heard Scotty Hobbs talking about The Secret. And I was going to prove him wrong because I had tried to watch The Secret on Netflix and I didn't even make it past the credits. I was like, this is awful. Who watches this? But I bought the book and I started reading it. And I was like, I'm going to prove him wrong. Like there's no way this affirmations and visualization thing works. No way. And so I started doing it. But I'll be danged if it didn't start. Everything that I started like visualizing and seeing all of a sudden was coming to light. And I know it sounds really granola and cheesy because I used to think that, but it did. Like these things were happening in my business. I went diamond at that, you know, and just because I said it, I didn't know how it was going to happen, but I put in the work and I did the things I was taught and it happened. And so I really believe in being your true self on Facebook, and that's when you start to see all of these doors open to you. You start to believe in yourself, and when you start doing personal development, that's when you really start to find your groove, and you find yourself and how to share that on social media. I'm always telling people to let their freak flag fly because we're all kind of weirdos, right? Like we're all kind of weird. We have quirks. We have things about ourselves that, you know, are just different. And that's okay. I spent so many years growing up because I was a child of a single mom. I lived in a town that, you know, didn't really have divorced people in it. I spent a lot of my time trying to conform to be like everybody else. And all of a sudden, I've realized that I'm cool. Like, I love myself. And that sounds really cocky and stuck up. But I do. I think I'm awesome. And you should think you're awesome too. Like, I'm my best friend. I think I am cool. Like, you're lucky. No, I'm just kidding. But like, that's how I feel. And because of that, I share that and exude that on social media. 2 books that have really helped me see that about myself are You Are a Badass, which I know you guys have all heard, read, I'm sure. Amazing book. One of my favorites. It's pretty vulgar, but I'm cool with that. Like, I like that. So it's in your face, it's blunt, and it's great. The other book is Girl Code by Cara Leva. I have the whole thing highlighted. It's very similar to You Are a Badass, and it is just a really good book. And one of the things that she says that really sticks out to me is, stop spending so much time watching other people. Learn to trust your own brilliance, go with your gut, and believe that you have something uniquely amazing to deliver this world. I love that because I know we're all supposed to have our news feed disabled, right? We all have it turned off so you don't get distracted by it. We all do, right? But you know that there are moments in your life when you grab your phone and you scroll, right? And what happens? The comparison game happens. We sit there and we're like, oh, that's an amazing post. I wish I would have thought of that. Or, oh, man, you know, like, I'm sorry. I know a lot of people love Thursdays. I don't like Thursdays very much because I start the comparison game. I sit there. If I avoid my newsfeed on Thursday, and it's not because I don't love and respect people and I'm not excited for them. Like, there are people I'm genuinely excited for. I'm not going to lie. Like, when I see Becky doing things, I'm like, I love her. I'm so proud of her. But there are other people that I start the comparison game with, because we started the same time, and why am I not seeing success like her? And dang it, like, you know, we're all guilty of it. And if you're not, then you are amazing because you've really accomplished something, because we all have that jealousy bug inside of us, you know? And so I love what she says, because when you stop comparing yourself to other people and when you kind of put your blinders on, all of a sudden your creativity comes out, because instead of focusing on what you didn't do, you're in your own groove. One thing I've issued my coaches, I ask them, and you can ask this to yourself, is your news feed filled with potential clients or coaches? we love coaches, right? We love to follow other coaches to see what they're doing, to maybe get some sort of something out of it. But if your newsfeed is pretty much filled with your coaches, other coaches, there's a problem. Why? Well, number one, they're already coaches. So even though it's great for you to like their things, if you're friends with them, you should. That's not who you're supposed to be talking to anyway, right? Like, majority of your time should be spent liking and commenting on other people's potential clients and clients' stuff so that they can see that you're interacting with them and that you're loving them. Well, I am so grateful when other people like my stuff. It makes me feel, it makes me feel good, but honestly, I am trying to reach out to people that I want to follow me on this journey. I mean, you're not trying to win over new coaches to bring them to your team, right? You can't do that. It doesn't work that way. So there's no point. I mean, I do have my select group that I follow. Like, I follow Becky. I do, because we're friends. Now we're really friends because we room together. We're friends. And so I like her stuff. But I mean, I don't go through and like Melanie Mitro's posts. I don't. And it's nothing against her. She has amazing posts. And there's nothing against Bonnie Engel. I love Bonnie Engel, but I don't go through and like her posts because it doesn't really matter. What matters is if I'm pouring my energy into potential clients, potential coaches. So I hope that makes sense. Our inner magic shines when we stop trying to replicate other successful ventures and innovate from our own desires. And I think that's amazing. When you stop trying to copy what other people are doing and you just let yourself be free and say what you want to say, that's the other thing. Do not be afraid to speak your mind, okay? It is okay to be yourself on social media. We tiptoe around trying to offend, we don't want to offend a bunch of people, right? But the thing is if you're trying to, you create a post and you're trying to just talk to everybody, you're really talking to nobody. So you've got to figure out who is your perfect client. Who are you trying to talk to? If you're someone who's vulgar, it's okay. There are people out there that will love you for that and will be attracted to you for that because that's their personality. If you are a bubbly, wild, crazy person who takes crazy face selfies, like I take a lot of kind of crazy, it's okay. Then do that. Don't try to be somebody else though. If that's not you, don't do it. Don't force it. There's no reason to be somebody else. Just let your inner self shine through to other people. There's something on my phone I was gonna share. I posted it today on my team page, and I really love it because it's true. Sorry, I'm not trying to be slow. It might not work. Sorry, I don't want to waste your guys' night, but it's really good, I promise. Okay, it says, people are better than ever at differentiating between genuine copy and empty words, written just to make a sale. Do you realize that's so true. I'll read it one more time because it's really true. People are better than ever at differentiating between genuine copy and empty words written just to make a sale. So when you're creating your posts are just little glimpses of who you are as a person. And I don't know about you, but I just looked back at my first post as a brand new Beachbody coach. And it was a snapshot of Shakeology and T25. I wasn't in the picture. And all it said was, mail came today, yay. Hashtag Beachbody coach, hashtag T25. That was it. Nothing else. I didn't say anything about it. And do you think I got very many likes on it? Absolutely not. Do you think I got any coaches or challengers out of it? Absolutely not. And it was because it wasn't genuine. There was nothing in there of value. And I get that it's hard to be vulnerable on social media. I get it. It's really hard to be vulnerable and share your story. But those posts are going to be the posts that attract people to you and the right people to you. The most interactions I've gotten are when I share about the fact that my real dad, he abandoned me growing up. He abandoned me. He gave me up for adoption to my stepdad. And then later in life, he then blamed me for everything that happened. I was 8 when it happened. And so the most times that I've been given, recognition or received, not recognition, but like attention to my posts are those times when I'm raw, real, and vulnerable. I get messages all the time from ladies saying, I've been there. My dad left me too. People I didn't know had experienced that are now opening up to me and letting their vulnerable selves open up too, because now we have this connection and this bond. And we're creating genuine relationships. And if it turns into a sale, great. But if it doesn't, great, because they're my friends and I love them. So be genuine. When you post, don't just post to post. Have a reason behind it. Even if, I post sometimes like funny quotes or things like that because I like humor. I think I'm pretty funny too. Some people don't, but I do. And so I figure there's people out there who get my humor. But I don't just throw it up there to throw it up there. I have a reason behind it. I want to do something. I ask them questions and get them opening up about things because I want them to see that I'm real and that I'm genuine and I'm not just there to be like, hey, beach body sale. Hey, another beach body sale. Oh, hey, did you get T25 today? It's not about that. It's about sharing your story, and those people will be attracted to you and they will show up every day to see your post. I post a Sunday selfie every Sunday with just a quote, something special to think about. If I miss a Sunday, I've had people messaging me asking me if I'm sick or if we're okay. Because, well, you didn't post on Sunday. Okay, well, we just were lazy and didn't go to church. So, no, we're good. But that people will notice, you'll develop a following. And that's another thing, be consistent about what times you post. My first year as a coach, I literally posted every day at 8, noon, and 6. And everyone knew that. And even now, I kind of stick around those times because you develop a following. It's like a blog. You develop this following and they know when to look for your posts. They know when to see that you're showing up. Okay, so be natural, not forced. That's what draws people to you. Just be yourself. When we start looking around at others, we strip away our own brilliance, creativity, and drive. Put your blinders on, unfollow coaches. And seriously, I mean it, unfollow coaches. Put a list. You can make a list on Facebook. It's super easy. You just create a list, add all of those coaches that you love to follow into that list, and allow yourself to go in there once a day, once every other day, whatever it is. But don't let your newsfeed be clogged up, like I said, with a bunch of coaches, because it doesn't do a whole lot for you, to be honest. It just doesn't. And here's my last really big tip. Stop trying to be everyone's cup of tea. You don't like everyone in this world, and some people aren't going to like you. So don't try to tiptoe around and please them. I struggled with that for a really long time. I wanted everyone to like me. I wanted to post to the masses on my Facebook page because, I didn't want to offend anyone. I didn't want to say something that maybe would make somebody upset. So I tiptoed around. But what happened is I didn't attract anybody because I wasn't honing in on who I am. So I don't know if you guys do avatars, like you figure out who your perfect client is, your perfect customer is. You need to know who they are. I have 2, and the reason I have 2 is because I have my perfect client and I have my perfect coach. Because while they're the same, they have the same interests, they like the same things, they're at different points in their life. My perfect client is just wanting to work on herself. My perfect coach is ready to help her family. Does that make sense? I don't know. I do 2 different ones. So I wake up in the morning and I say, okay, what does Piper need to hear today? She has a name. I know what she looks like. I know her favorite TV shows. I know everything about her. She's my fake best friend because she's me, a version of me. But when I write posts, it's a lot easier to say, okay, what would she need to hear today? Versus me sitting here going, I don't know what to share. I'm overwhelmed. I have anxiety. If I know I have anxiety today, I'm like, okay, does she need to hear about this today because I'm struggling with it? I hope that makes sense. But for me, it makes it easier to become vulnerable because instead of just trying to figure out what to say, I'm like creating posts like I'm talking to my best friend. I'm creating this for her, for this one person. And it seems scary to narrow down. It's scary because you're like, oh my gosh, I'm getting all these people and now all of a sudden, but you'll actually see more success because your posts, the people that like this post, there's gonna be more of those people liking it versus you saying something broad and a bunch of people liking it and then you reaching out to them and they're like, well, I really didn't care what I really didn't want to do your coaching opportunity. I like the picture, So it's kind of like a giveaway. If you see that they're giving away an iPad, everyone wants an iPad, right? So all these people are like clicking, yeah, get the offer, get the offer. But when they reach out to you, they're like, okay, cool, you got the offer. Now we're going to start sending you emails about health and fitness. How many of those people are going, no, leave the email, because they don't care about that. They just want the iPad. But if you were to offer clean eating recipes, because you're a health and fitness coach, now you've got these people who want to eat clean and healthy. So you're going to get that in the market. Does that make sense? So that's why I do my posts that way. I try to focus on those two people. Okay, so what was I going to say? So don't tiptoe around other people and try to please them, because if you try to appeal to everyone, you appeal to no one. And then I was going to kind of share, if it's okay with you, Becky, I was just going to share a little bit of how I run my month based on how I post. Does that help you guys? I don't know if that helps you guys. So my first 2 weeks of the month are always dedicated. My posts are directed towards my clients, my potential challengers, those girls that I'm trying to attract that are struggling with health and fitness, that are wanting to get back to being healthy. I share my story about before I was a coach, what I was going through as a mom. I was 35 pounds heavier. I had major anxiety. I didn't like the person I saw in the mirror. I share that for the first 2 weeks of the month. So I'm inviting them so that by the 15th or the 20th of the month, I've got Success Club locked in. I found my people, they're ready to go. And then the last 2 weeks I dedicate to coaches. I want to find my coaches. So I start crafting my posts. While these two people will still be attracted to those posts, this one's not going to be ready because she's only ready to be a challenger, but this one's going to be ready because she wants to be a coach. And so I start talking about that. What has Beachbody done for me? And any points I get from that are just added bonuses, but I'm not struggling to hit Success Club at the end of the month because I've already found my 5 challengers at the beginning of the month. And then one of the biggest things that I have done, and I think this would be huge for you, I listened to a call by Tara Carr last summer. I love Tara Carr. And she was talking about free groups. And I don't know how you guys run free groups. I run a free group every single week of the month. Every single week. Why? Because I want to add as much value to people as possible. And then that doesn't make me feel super salesy because I'm still adding value every single week. So how I do that is I create a big group. Instead of reopening a group every week, I've created one giant fitness community. It has, I'm getting close to 300 members. And every week we do a different type of a challenge. I have a lot of interaction with them. I ask them, do you want to do a clean eating group this week? I do polls in there asking if they want to do a fitness challenge, if they want to do a personal development challenge. And based on that is how I structure the month. I get the first, second, and third prize. And then fourth week, I kind of play and mix them all up together and give them kind of a mixture. How I do it though is I only run it Monday through Friday. So we started on Monday, it ends on Friday, and on Friday afternoon, I'm messaging everyone that participated, asking them how they liked the group, and if they would like to join my VIP, which is my paid group. Do you want to join my VIP? It's like this one, but it's a little more in-depth. I work more one-on-one with you. 95% of my Success Club points and my challengers come from that fitness community because when they're ready, they're there. Instead of, I find them in there because they already have put some skin in the game by just showing up to a free group. So last week I did a Love Yourself challenge, and it was hard. It was hard for a lot of those women, but they're amazing. And I have a few ladies that are actually looking into coaching because they found this confidence and they're like, oh, I could do what you do. I've done superhero boot camps. I do a lot of theme song music, so you think you can dance challenges, just clean eating challenges. I've done a muscles and mascara and had a friend come in, guest that was a makeup from another MLM, and she came in at night and gave makeup tips, and I did fitness challenges in the morning. I mean, you don't have to do just clean eating. You don't have to just do like an abs and booty challenge. Like, you can make it amazing. And when you create this community, it kind of people start taking care of other people, and you start to see leaders emerge. And that's when you message those leaders and say, hey, you're already being a coach. Why don't you do this with me? So that's what I personally do. I don't know if that helps. I hope it helps. I don't really have anything else more to say unless you have questions, but thanks for letting me jump on.
Thank you. All right, so we can open it up and see if anyone has questions. Do you guys have any questions for Makala? She's seriously so cool. I love Makala.
How do you advertise for your free group if it's like a different one every week?
So how I advertise is I just call it my fitness community. And so I create badges, sounds really dorky, but I create like pictures of like a badge and I post it in the fitness community. So I have those girls, I'm like, hey, if you're doing this, post this on your page and invite like 3 friends to join you. All they got to do is add me as a friend, and so we get people added in that way. Because I am very big on do not add people to this group unless they want to be, because I'm added to a lot of groups and it makes me mad. So like a lot. I'm sure you guys know what it's like. You get added to a million different groups and you don't even know why you're there. So that's a big rule in there. But I also every Sunday night, well, not every Sunday, but a lot of Sunday nights I post like, hey, I've got a challenge starting up tomorrow, who wants to join in? And people comment below me and I'll just add them into the fitness community. So I just keep adding people. Nobody gets removed unless they ask to be removed or they remove themselves. And I have very few people that remove themselves.
So how long are they on, or how long could they be on one of those groups? Like forever?
Yeah, okay. I do. There's a few girls that I've removed because I felt like they were abusing it. I don't know. I talked to them and I knew that they just were abusing what I was doing because they were in other groups, and I thought I'm not going to waste, I'm not going to do that. But mostly people just stay in there because I figure everyone has their own journey and we don't know their timing. So how do we know that it's not going to take a couple years for someone to finally, and I want to be that, I want them to know that it didn't matter. Like I still wanted to pour my heart and soul into them and help them.
So I do a group like you, but I don't do it I just do it the first Monday every single month. And I do a free, like some kind of group. So last time it was a no sugar and a squat challenge. Or I'll do a free clean eating, or what are some of the others I've done? We did an abs are made in the kitchen one, so I'll go back from clean eating and no sugar, just trade off between those two and stuff. But I do the same thing. I have it as a community and it's run in the same group month after month. And so I just keep adding new people in.
Yeah, and for the reason I do it every week is I just heard that call from Tara Carr and it just hit me because I was like, okay, yes. Like I was trying to figure out how do you keep engagement and adding value and people, and so I wanted them to know that. Sorry, my little boy's yelling. But for me, it just works that way. And it's not that much extra for me to put into it. And I advertise in there. I do. I advertise my challenge groups in there because I figure if I'm giving you all of this value, you can stand to see a post once a week from me saying, hey, join my challenge group, But I post in there when the Fix 8 goes on sale, when it went on sale. I post in there like anything like, hey, like 22-minute hard course coming up. Join, be prepared. And it's really kind of neat. I had a question another day. I'll answer it because I don't know if you guys have this question. Do you let your coaches run it with you? I don't. They're in there and they see how I run it, and I feel like that's enough for them because it gets too messy if you have co-runners in there, because then if you have mutual friends, someone's feeling gets hurt because I thought she was going with me. I don't like drama, so I just try to stay away from it. But yeah.
Do you have this so only you can comment, and everybody has to comment under you, or like everyone can make posts?
I let everyone make posts. I've never really had an issue with it. It's not a lot of people don't post on their own very often unless they private message me and tell me about something. I do challenger shout outs in there too. I'll do a spotlight on people, even if they haven't done a challenge group with me, but they've lost weight or they fit into some jeans and they're excited and they message me about it. I'm like, hey, can we share this? Because you deserve a shout out. Can we post this in that group? And it just gets people feeling, confident and happy. But anyone can post. And I've never really had an issue with anybody not with bad
Yeah.
bad
The only
posters.
reason, so I have my group set up where I'm the only one that is able to post, but then everyone can comment on the posts, only because I started getting complaints. I'm trying to look. I have 165 people in that group, and they were telling me so many people were commenting because I have them check in the evening with how they did. And so they were checking in, and then no one could find my posts. So I have them check in, like we have a morning check-in, an afternoon check-in, and an evening check-in, and they just comment below my posts. That way it's easy for them to find the post that they're looking for. That's the reason I did mine that way.
Right. And I don't do check-ins with my free groups just because I usually have a call to action in whatever the post is for that day, and they comment in there. So I don't have it turned off, but it's just, and I do that too. If I do a check-in, it's just a picture that says Thursday's check-in, so that it doesn't get super messy, because it could get really, really messy.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
And that's how mine was. It really got so messy that I'm like, okay, I'm just going to make it so I'm the only one that can post, and then they just are trained. And I may take it off at some point, where everyone can post. But this way they're trained that they just comment on the post.
Well, and pinned posts used to be so cool, but on your phone, nobody checks a pinned post.
No,
so
exactly.
I don't pin posts because they just get lost.
Right.
The only time it gets kind of messy is if someone's missed a few days and they go back and comment, so it bumps them to the top, and I'm like, ugh! But it's usually pretty good. I've been using the challenge group app though, and I really love that. But I don't think I'll ever go away from my fitness community on Facebook, just because it's a different audience and different way of doing it, I think. So.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for hopping on. I so appreciate it. Yes. Hey, have a great night, you guys.